Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Zach. I'm coming to you from from Fix Up for Fitness. Got a new location here. Give you guys another view of the gym. So, what we want to talk about today, today's FAQ is you're probably tired of hearing about it, but today's FAQ is regarding sickness because obviously with the coronavirus going on, we have a lot of things shutting down and whatnot. And Fix Upper is not closed. We're small enough that we can survive. But so we wanted to ask the question: should I exercise when I'm sick? So what we're going to do is talk about some different what your body actually does when you're sick, how it defends itself, some other things that affect that, and then how exercise ties in to everything. So the first thing we want to talk about is what does your body do as natural defense for when you might be fighting an illness or to prevent you from getting sick. And your body has an immunity, right? We've all heard of our immune system, and so there's natural immune system and there's an adaptive immune system. So when we think of natural immune system, we want to think about things like your nose and your airways, where your body uses to kind of keep things from getting in. Think about your stomach, with your stomach acid in there that helps to temper some things. Most of us are familiar with white blood cells and how they are used to help clean the blood and defend with bacteria. Those are all things that are natural immunities. Some things that are adaptive immunities would also include your white blood cells sort of have a memory, right? You think about they build up this immune response. So if you have a virus or you have a bacteria, your white blood cells will build up an immunity to those. It'll kind of have a memory, and you'll be able to fight that off in the future. You can also help your system along with things like vaccines. So recapping real quickly, just what happens when your body is taking on bacteria and viruses, your immune system is usually called into question, and it's usually challenged, okay? There are some other things that actually affect your immune system as well, and can be I guess precursors to you getting sick or give you a higher chance of getting sick. And one of those things is some stress. I do have some notes here, guys, so I'll be looking down a little bit. Your stress, your age, your gender, how much sleep you're getting, the climate that you live in, and your current mood. So these are all things that actually affect your immunity as well. Obviously, stress, these are all things that are usually going to, as you age, and the more stress you have, your immune system is suppressed. The older you get, the harder it is. Male and female have different hormonal responses to some things, and that affects your immunity as well. Lack of sleep can suppress your immune system. The climate you live in, and even mood can affect your immune system. So these are all things that we have to kind of gauge and balance as we go through our day. But this is where exercise comes into play. And so exercise actually has some positive benefits, or can have some positive benefits on your immune system. And I have a few graphics I'm going to show you here to help kind of drive this home. But it broadly put, or I guess 50,000 foot picture here, kind of light interval training doesn't really have an effect on your immune system. So if you're wondering, like, what kind of exercise should I do if I want to boost my immune system, we're not even talking about if you're sick or not. This is just to boost your immune system. Okay, so kind of a moderate interval training doesn't really have any effect on your immune system. However, moderate intensity does boost your immunity. Brief, vigorous, so like going for a sprint, that won't have any effect. It's not long enough. But moderate intensity exercise actually can boost your immune system. And then if you go too far, if you do prolonged, vigorous exercise, think about doing lots of interval training for a long period of time, that'll actually suppress your immune system. So this, real quickly, there's three things there. The one most folks generally practice is that moderate intensity. And so when you exercise, you're boosting your immune system. That's a great reason to continue to exercise. Maybe if you're starting to feel a little sick, is that you can actually boost your immune system. And I'll show you this graphic here. And what this graphic is showing, and it's the same thing as being sort of sedentary. So there's two sides of this curve here, and I'll show you this graphic now. There's two sides of this curve here, and you'll see there's a sedentary on one side, and the other side is exercising. And you see you have this dip in the middle, and that's moderate, and that your risk of infection is actually very low when you have moderate intensity. Your risk of infection or catching an illness is average or a little bit above average when you're sedentary. That is, if you're not moving that much. And if you exercise too much, you see this large swoop upwards, which means you can actually be more detrimental to your health if you over exercise than if you are under exercising. So those are some things that how exercise can actually affect your immune system. So we talked about your immune system, how exercise affects your immune system. Now we're going to talk about what to do when you're sick. Now I'm going to say this off the bat: if you are sick or you think you have like coronavirus, this does not include coronavirus because it's very contagious, I guess. If you feel like you're sick at all, if there's if there's no global virus spreading across the world. So this is normal illnesses and normal sickness here. So there's certain activities that we should do, and there's certain activities that we shouldn't do. But some of the activities we could do that could be beneficial, they kind of fall into that moderate intensity, would be like walking, going for a light jog, maybe swimming, biking, Tai Chi if you're into that, or yoga. These are moderate to low intensity exercises that are actually going to help boost your immune system. Now, some things you want to avoid when you're working out would be your heavy resistance training, long endurance training, high intensity sprinting, team sports, probably training in a gym, maybe if you're feeling like you're really sick, and exercising in extreme temperatures, either hot or cold. Not going to be real helpful for when you might be feeling like you're getting sick. So just to review those real quick, when you actually are sick, there are some exercise suggestions. Think low to moderate intensity, going for a brisk walk, a jog, a swim, a bike, maybe some yoga or Tai Chi. Avoid heavy intensity resistance training or vigorous aerobic activity or team sports or working out in extreme temperatures. So those are some things, those are the two sides that you want to use. Now, the question is, we've kind of gone over what to do if you want to try something, but should we actually do it? What are the signs and symptoms? When should I say, no, I'm not going to try it? The benefit is not really there. You want to kind of gauge how you're feeling. Listen to what your body, if you really are sick and the symptoms are you're right in the thick of it, chances are you got to consider the stress, you got to consider what's going on, and then make the call. But if you're like so we're going to go through day by day, I guess. When you first start feeling sick, low intensity is okay if you have just normal symptoms of sore throat, coughing, or runny nose, that kind of thing. But if you feel like you can. If you have muscle joints and headaches and fevers and that kind of stuff, exercise is not recommended. As the illness or virus progresses, these things change a little bit. But pretty much think about your symptoms. There's like two levels of symptoms. Sore throat, coughing, runny nose, congestion, those can all actually, when you work out moderate to low intensity, you can actually help those. Those can actually become better. You can get relief from that. If you're having fevers, one, you want to avoid, you want to rest. Diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, all those kind of more serious stuff, chances are you're not even going to want to work out. And the chances are exercise is not even going to cross your mind. But if you can get up and walk around and you're kind of just mildly uncomfortable and there's no fever, it's a good idea that exercise actually might be a good call for you to try out. A couple guys that we look to as far as working out, they have some statements on this, and I'm going to share those statements with you, and it's pretty put in layman's terms. So I'm going to read these to you, and this kind of sums up Fixer Upper's position on should you work out if you're sick. So I'm going to read these. It says, unless you're feeling like a train wreck, always recommend low intensity heart rate cardio during the first couple of days of sickness, 20 to 30 minutes of activity. and you're most likely to stimulate your immune system if you do that. But even if you don't speed up your recovery, you'll feel better that you got out and moved. So that's Dr. John Berardi. He does precision nutrition, if you're familiar with him. Another position statement that we subscribe to here is just let your systems be your guide. And we talked about that a little bit. Let your symptoms be your guide. If you want to do some light cardio, go for a walk, go for it. If you do want to hit the weights, do it low intensity. But there's also, you don't have to work out if you're feeling sick. You can also just stay at home and rest if you want to. But chances are low intensity activity, low to moderate intensity, is going to make you feel better as long as your symptoms align with that. If you are having some serious symptoms, like we talked about, muscle aches and joints and that kind of stuff, fevers and everything else that goes with it, then chances are you need to just rest and stay home. Also, your gym partners will also be thankful that you didn't come. So I know this is a sensitive topic right now because a lot of us are sick. I know a lot of you guys are goal oriented, but just the long and the short of it is just play it by ear. You want to make sure that you're not doing any damage to yourself. Listen to your symptoms. I know that my personal preference is whenever I start to feel very sick or like I'm getting sick, my first thing I like to do is start drinking lots of water and do some light cardio. And that really always makes me feel better. And I feel like I come out of the illness quicker than I would have if I would have just kind of sat down and not done anything. Okay. So now obviously if I'm really, really sick, your body tells you have to rest. You kind of do that. So thanks for all the folks that came by and dropped in. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments section, or you can message us. And I'll stay safe out there. It's getting kind of crazy. If you want to come work out, go for it. If you want to get some fresh air, go for a nice walk. If you're feeling sick, just think about what we learned today with your immune system. Thanks for joining us with the Fixer Upper FAQ. A little bit more of a serious one today, not as fun. And I'm by myself again, so you had to look at me the whole time. So, like I said, thanks for coming by, and we'll see you next time. Let us know if you have any questions. Like the video and share it if you think to. If you're interested in the graphics that I had, the information, I can also share those. Thank you all so much. See ya.